Hey guys, and welcome to a new replay commentary. For today, we're going to talk about Arthas, the melee warrior from the Warcraft universe. Before we start with the analysis and everything, I'm just going to give you a couple of updates. Sorry for not having a video last week. I was pretty sick, so I just didn't get the chance to actually do a video because I was just sniffling. You might still hear it in my voice, and I might even still sniffle and cough a little bit in this video, so apologies in advance for that. On the other note, my Twitch channel just got affiliate, so I'm going to do more streaming there. I streamed about 7 streams in the last couple of weeks, so I will try to revamp and rebrand some of the things and also be more on a consistent schedule. So if you're interested in live streaming and seeing my content there, just head over to the channel. The link is in the video description and you can give it a follow there. So with that out of the way, just let's jump in and talk about Arthas. So he's a melee warrior, as I said. He is currently considered one of the best tanks and competitive heroes of the Storm, meaning in esports, in HGC, and for example now in Gold Club in China, he's been played a lot. My personal experience is that I'm not very good with him, so we're going to see how that goes in the Team League game that you're about to see. The good thing is that he is pretty consistent with what he does, so you will see that what he does well, and then you can also see the weaknesses of that. Let's start with this build, where his kit, Death Call on Q, a very Death Knight ability, basically heals him if you use it on the Arthas, and also damages the enemy if you use it on an enemy. Hauling Blast is his only hard CC, and it's just a root, so no stun, and you have to hit it. So it's not a point and click, it is a skill shot with a charge, actually. Like it travels a little bit, so you can dodge it. Frozen Tempest is his E ability, basically has a ring of damage around him that slows enemies, which makes him a very good counter to melee heroes, especially Greymane, which we will see in the statistics. His trait is Frostmourne Hungers, activate to empower your next basic attack and restore mana. So basically this is a crit on your basic attack if you activate your D, and then you just get a little bit of mana back. Army of the Dead is considered the best heroic for him at the moment. He raises a bunch of ghouls and then you can eat them to heal, or they just do damage. They don't do that much damage. I think they got nerfed actually, damage-wise, but it's just for him to be more survivable, and that's pretty much it. Summons Dragosa is considered pretty weak at the moment. It has a very long cooldown, makes it a little awkward to use. I think it's like 120 seconds or something, so it's one of the longest cooldowns in game. It disabled structures for a while. It's actually pretty long, so it can be used for snowball tactics or like things that you want to win early game. Good example is Battlefield of Eternity, which we're going to see later on. If you get the first immortal, if you get the second immortal and you're level 10 against level 8, for example, which can happen, you can use Syndragosa to basically snowball through a keep and then win the game with Immortal going onto core right away. But we're going to see it's not used a lot, so just keep that in mind. I'm going to switch over to hot slogs. We're going to keep this a little shorter than usual. Arthas is in the middle of the pack, 51% win rate. His popularity is pretty high, 29%. He is in the middle of the pack. If I scroll up, you can see a lot of heroes are above him, but also here he is again. You can see a lot of heroes are below him, so he's a pretty good spot, I think, at the moment. He does a lot of things well again, especially against melee heroes. As I said, that's his strength. Let's have a look. I just want to go over this real quick. Put in Master and Diamond because that's where we are. Because it's actually pretty cool for him having only a 51% win rate, and I say only in air marks. His talents are actually picked quite a bit differently. For example, you can see Frost Presence is picked pretty high, but doesn't have a very high win rate compared to the other ones, 2 to 3% off. And then you can see if you go down, a lot of his talents actually have quite a bit of pick rate. Obviously, there's always outliers that have a lot of pick rate. For example, Frozen Wastes, which I'm also getting in my game, has a huge advantage, but from the win rates, it's actually pretty close. And then you have, for example, talents here on level 7. You can see that they're actually pretty close, 20%, 28%. Well, not, I mean, you know what I mean, but like it's pretty close for talent diversity. And then the later it goes, it gets a little bit worse. Here you see that it's 15% only, and then you have Remorseless Winter being the best one. But again, still the win rates are, you know, pretty good for all talents. So it's not that the talents are bad. It's just that people like to pick something else. I'm not going to talk about the skill glitch here. I'm going to do that in the game. We're going to switch over to Master League to show you a little bit of competitive Arthas, because I think that's where his strengths are at the moment. He is one of the best tanks in the meta at the moment. As you can see, his popularity and win rate doesn't really crash at any point. He's very popular. He's actually banned throughout his lifetime. Basically, you can see Garrosh patch, Galthuza patch. He's just stable in the meta. His pick rate has gone up a little bit lately, and that's basically because of his ability to counter Greymane, who's probably the most picked assassin at the moment. So he's just very good at countering him. As you can see, he's also picked on sorry for that, on a lot of the maps. You will see him less on Braxis and Warhead. Especially on Braxis, it's sometimes just that he's not very mobile in comparison to Myrddin. So he's not as popular as a second tank, for example. He's also a pretty good solo laner. He does fare well against a couple of the heroes, for example Sonya, which we'll see in the game. But he basically doesn't only hit the main tank role, but it can also be the later you know, bruiser kind of type of situations where it's like you are tanky in the beginning and then you're more bruising and trying to get kills. So he can be paired with another warrior with no problem. Have a quick look at the builds. As you can see, they haven't changed that much. Obviously, with some of the buffs and nerfs to talents, it has been you know, a come and go for some talents. But as you can see, Icebound Fortitude has been the go-to pick. And you can see Armies of Army of the Dead is the most picked heroic throughout his lifetime. We've seen Synergoza on some occasions, but it's again just a normal snowball pick that you get. This one now is interesting for me. The counters to him are actually pretty showing here. So Gul'dan, Tracer, Chromie all have pretty high win rates against him, but also pretty much a lot of games picked against him. This is just because he doesn't fare very well against mages. They don't go and get into his melee range, so he can't catch up on them, and then they can just do a lot of damage to you. You have some magic resistance that you can get throughout the talents, especially on level 20 you can get the anti-magic shell, but it doesn't really help you that much if you're like in late game situations, because you know until then you might have already lost the game. So you can see a lot of the counters are range characters. Malthael, just because he's good against every warrior. But the lower you go, you can see that as soon as it goes into melee characters, and you know, Jaina has a very short range. Kharazim, Greymane, it's one of the games that, or one of the heroes again that he counters a lot. It just his frozen waves just make that happen. And then one last click into the matches. As you can see, Gold Club World Championship, he has been picked throughout the whole tournament. Quarterfinals he's in, semifinals he's in, winner final, loser final, grand final. So he's been picked in the loser finals actually in every game, I think, except game 3. So you can see how strong he currently is seen in the meta. And you can see that people also pick him with Greymanes to basically counter or take him away to not counter Greymane. So, and as you can see, he's been picked a lot of double warrior with Garrosh, with Stitches, with Dehaka. So he works very well in that regard as well. Okay, let's have a last look at my hero stats. And they're a little, sorry for that, little move. Let's go like this. Production value, here you go. So as you can see, my win rate is not very good with him. I've only had 38% win rate with him. I've played him 31 games, not a lot, but I didn't enjoy him in the last couple of iterations that we had with him. I felt he was pretty weak on some occasions, and also just didn't know how to play him. Oftentimes I just ran in and died, and I was like, hey, I didn't get heal off and whatever. I get more the hang of it now as I watch more Heroes esports, but he's definitely a hero that you have to learn. He's not as easy as other tanks are. Okay, with that, let's jump into the game. here we are. We are... Oops, on the right side, I think. Yeah, here you go. Where am I? Here you are. We're gonna zoom out a little bit, and I'm gonna do the what is it called? The observing. So Arthas, in this case, we picked him because we still needed a second tank with Varian, but also because he's good against Greyman, as I said, and also he's actually pretty good against Sonya. So what we wanted to do is basically just have a solo laner, and they didn't pick, like our teammates didn't pick a pretty good solid lineup before we were able to pick. So we had two team with Nunia and me. So I ended up having to pick a solo laner, and I wasn't comfortable with my normal solo pick, which is Leoric, because I felt that it didn't work very well with what they had. So I just picked Arthas. And he's again good against Greyman and Sonya, both of them, so he actually counters both of them pretty well. So here we go. Frozen Waves on. You just try to do a little bit of damage with the minion waves and try to avoid damage against Sonya. That's why I took Rhyme on level 1, which is basically block, but a little bit better than the basic block. I've never played Arthas against Sonya in a competitive environment. That's why I'm a little worried here and play very safe against her. I will get more comfortable, and I miss my Howling Blast as well, exactly. Here, it's not the best thing to use it against Sonya anyway, because it doesn't interrupt her her whirl. As I said, it's not a stun, so therefore it doesn't really interrupt a lot of things. Which, you know, is an issue against Sonya, but the good thing is, as you can see, I didn't lose as much life as I could have, and I still have not lost too much ammunition. My tower is a little bit down, but it'll get better. Why I'm rooting here is basically so that she doesn't get back into the full minion wave. So with the whirlwind that she had, she didn't get full value out of it. That can help in some occasions. I'm pretty safe here up here. My team is doing a good job of fighting, and my job is literally just like be here, soak experience, and be the person that gets experience in. Now that the wave top has been killed, I check if Sonya is on our immortal. She's not, and we actually get a win here by killing Johanna, but we lose Jenna. So this is what I'm doing here is only possible in basically very organized competitive play, because I'm staying away from the team to get experience. And as you can see, it actually helps us a bit. We're a little bit ahead, a slimmer, not much, but it is better for me to soak this experience rather than... And here I catch her in the rotation, which is really important, because she can't go in here. So I'm just getting level 4 for us, basically. It's been now the same at the same time, because Greyman and Sylvanas are in the bottom as well. But you won't see this sort of rotation or this way that we're playing it in Hero League most of the time, because you oftentimes just want to brawl around the Immortal and get it as soon as possible. Now that we have level 4, I move in here, and we're just going to pause it real quick to talk about that situation now. So I could totally just stay here and get more ammunition out of these towers, but I'm level 4 now with my team. So it doesn't really make sense to soak, because we need 3 levels to get the next talent lead, and that's not going to happen. This is where Arthas is really strong, but also why I'm why I have a very low win rate with him. Basically, there's 5 heroes around me, and I just walk in. I still have quite a bit of mana, so Frozen Tempest will actually slow them down a lot and also reduce their attack damage. But the problem is that I'm just walked into 5 people to get a lot of quest stacks, because I want to have quest stacks to have this finished as soon as possible, so that I get 1.5 seconds more of a slow on these heroes, which is very strong late game. But I'm walking in here and I immediately get controlled. The good thing is I get to escape quite easily, and now I'm just trying to be frontlining, and as you can see, I actually dropped quite a bit, which is why we are happy to have Varian with Arthas, because it basically gives us the opportunity to do trades like this where I get low, but the Varian chases the target that has attacked me or is close after the target that attacked me, And therefore we get a kill on the Sonya, who's contesting too much of this Immortal. We win the Immortal pretty handily, have 50% of the shield, and now obviously we have Sylvanas. We still want to have the wave here. And Jaina is pretty low, so because we have Sylvanas, I'm actually going to move down. Normally what you want to do with as a solo laner, you want to stay up and soak the experience here. But because we have the Sylvanas, who disables the buildings, our Immortal is much stronger than you would be normally in the early game. Again, I'm slowing people and then just activating Frozen Tempest to get as much quest stacks as possible. I should be deactivating it here. Yeah, perfect. To save mana. You only want to have it active when it actually does either damage against minions or is on heroes. Because once you have it on heroes, it gives you quest stacks and also slows and damages them. But if you're not on a hero, then, and I miss another Holding Blast here, then it just drains your mana for basically no effect. Level 7, I'm going for Icebound Fortitude, basically gives you armor and reduces the amount of time that you get slowed. Really strong talent, as we get another pick here because they're defending too hard against a very low health Immortal. Actually, let's jump back here a couple of seconds to look at this. This is one of the things that you shouldn't be doing. She's already pretty low here, Sonya, and she's walking into 5 people, right? So they're getting a pretty big advantage up here with Sonya being able to freely do damage. So this Immortal has, I don't know, maybe like 2,000, 3,000 life left. It will definitely die on these towers, and even if you lose them, the next Immortal phase, the Immortal will go up, because we're not going to be able to take the fort. So her going in here, with all 5 of us, without having, let's have a look, she shouldn't have it up. Where is she? There she is. She has Iron Skin already used, so with this, she has no way to escape here, and we have a slow from Varian, we have my slow, and we have 2 characters that can do quite a bit of damage. Jaina, who does burst damage and also slows. So you basically end up in a position where you just get so much slow and then you just die. And for what? For the Immortal taking a tower. It's not worth it. We just pause around here a little bit, take the wall, and then we try to get away. Our Jaina here really wants to fight for some reason. But that's just Nunya, who is now out of mana, and actually I think she will also red out the Grey Man. No, she doesn't. We go back, we don't have mana. We lose 1 person, but we basically got keep wall and didn't lose as much as it could have been. Up here we lost the wall, the fort and the well didn't do, didn't get any damage. So back to my duty of just solo laning, and as you can see, as my mana pool grows with every level, it's getting easier and easier for me to just stay on a good mana level. I see a lot of enemies on the bottom. I haven't seen Sonya in a bit, but the mini wave gives me vision, so I'm pretty happy to just do this. Now I see her coming. I will still kill the first minion here because I'm pretty happy to do that. Now that I see that her coming. And she actually hits the spear, and I miss the Holding Blast. I just back away. Again, this is just giving me stacks for Frozen Tempest. I wasn't really looking for any trouble. She has a bigger mini wave and she clears the mini wave very quickly, so I'm actually pretty happy to just give it to her. And I'm also not too concerned about the camp. The Khazra are not very good at sieging. Obviously, if you leave them alone for a very long time, they will take buildings, but they're not super strong, so if she gets it, I don't mind that much. I'm just happy to just get the minions so that we have level 10. Here we go. And I go Army of the Dead, obviously, because I want to be frontlining. So as we're doing damage and they're doing damage, I can see that the Sonya is here now, so she didn't take the camp. And I just walk in to disrupt a little bit of stuff. And this is exactly, take a look here. I'm now on the Greyman, and the Greyman is not in working form. So he can't Q away from me. He would have to E into me to then be able to E out of me again in a couple of seconds. So now I'm actually in a pretty good position. I pull the ghouls because I want to be able to tank through anything that they come at me with to get the Greyman. He gets cleansed, but he makes a mistake because he jumps in now to get in Walking Form and then get out. But his Uther already used Cleanse, and he's healing him now, and he's still lost quite a bit of life. Now that the Cleanse has run out, I root him again, and I actually make the mistake of not walking forward because everybody's blocking me, and I'm also not doing a pretty good job of just trying to walk around them. So I should have, like, you know, walked around to body block him, but I didn't do it. But this is exactly why Greymane has such big troubles against Arthas, because once you're in range of him, he just can't get away. This situation, I'm not sure if I'm doing this correctly. I'm getting also Spirit again, which is bad. But I just wanted to have the minion wave because it looks pretty big, but it actually now run into a gank. And again, let's have a look at this. I should, with another tank, I would probably be in a bad position. So I'm here. I don't have vision of the enemy. I just see that my team is doing the Immortal, right? So I get a couple of stacks of my quest. So now I walk down. I get Holy Shocked here from Uther, so I get dismounted already. So I'm actually in a pretty bad situation because I've been dismounted. So my movement speed is low. The issue is that they are not actually collapsing on me, even though they should have vision that Johanna is in here attacking me. So now I'm slowed again. I hit her. And I actually wanted to Hearthstone here, as you can see in the animation. I didn't B-step. So now Zarok is also coming with the Sonya. But the thing is, even with the stun, because my slow has run out that Johanna gave me, I'm still slowing them, so I easily get away. And this is one of the strengths of Arthas that I just, when I played him earlier in the past, didn't really grasp. Like the understanding of how good the slow is and how to escape with the slow and use it to your advantage without being constantly out of mana, because it drains a lot of mana. Again, we get the Immortal. I didn't do a lot of damage to it. And again, I'm going into the front line, trying to get a slow. I tried to get Greymane, but he actually does a good job. Another miss Howling Blast, which for me is pretty difficult to hit. I oftentimes mistime it, and then great taunt, great less shield to counter the initiation of us. I get cleansed, amazing Ring of Frost, and now I'm pretty low, and our Jaina has died because the Li Ming is just getting a lot of damage into us. I'm a little worried about my life, so I try to just run away here and heal me up with ghouls. And here you can see it again, like without mana I can't get away now. I dodge the spear. I just turn on the E whenever I can, when I have some mana for it, to be able to run away. This is really close, like my life dropped quite a bit, but with the army can get 428 life for I think 6 ghouls that you have, so you can keep a life quite a lot if you time it correctly. And I was pretty okay on mana because I didn't commit too hard before with my Frozen Tempest. So there you go, I hit a root, and now I'm in them again. I'm close to the Greymane, and now I'm just healing myself with the Death Coil. And as you can see, they need to really like use Cleanse to just get away from me. Now I see that my Sylvanas is getting hit, so I'm just trying to shave off the Sonya off of her. I pulled ghouls again, just because I know that we want to fight here. We can get a talent lead here, as we did. And now we clean up the house. We get 2 kills. I get pretty much full health, and then also we will be able to probably get into the next Punisher phase very easily. Unfortunately, our Sylvanas died, so we can't really push that much forward as we could with her. But still, the keep already lost quite a bit of life, so we're happy to go in here. Pretty offensive Jaina movement again. The Ring of Frost hits, and then again with my slowing them down, it's just very difficult for them to engage into us. I'm on like 3/4 of my life, so I'm happy to just be frontlining here. And they focus on the wrong target here, I think. They could have gotten like 2 kills. I'm actually like super low, so I'm just pinging my enemies, my teammates back. But they're like, nope, we have the technology, we're gonna fight. As you can see, I'm still pretty healthy. I lost quite a bit of mana, so I'm a little bit in a pickle here. But with Frostmourne, I'm gonna get some mana back. And I try to avoid using Frozen Tempest here now, because it doesn't do that much damage to the Immortal, and then I'm just also draining mana. I'm gonna go back here. Happy to let them tank a couple of the Greymane shots. Root him just so that he can't follow us that much. Let's have a quick pause for the level 30 because I wasn't actually sure what to take. So Shattered Armor is the talent that is taken the most in competitive, I think. But I like the Frost Strike as well. It reduces the cooldown of Frostborn Hungers, and then it gives you another slow. Even if you don't have Tempest on, you can slow somebody and then use Tempest. And then obviously, like having only a 10-second cooldown on the Frostmourne is also good for mana. Biting Cold is okay, but you don't really want to do a lot of damage with Arthas. Like, that's not your job. It's more like crowd control and everything. But I took the Selim very late because I just asked actually Nunya what to take in this situation, which is a mistake. You should always know your talents when the talent tier arrives. Like, you shouldn't be waiting. I tapped. Now we can go back, and again, I'm happy to just walk into them and miss my Howling Blast. I still have army up again. Try to avoid being stunned here. And this is actually, let's jump back a little bit. I'm pretty proud of this because let's have a look here. So we're up in front. That's all good. And then you can see Zara coming in and doing a good flank up here on the Sylvanas. So when I see this, last time she just died. This time I try to avoid getting stunned here. And our Jaina is pretty much out of position here. So I can't really do anything against this. She's helping herself, and she gets an Ancestral as well. But now I'm also on the Sonya, so she can't do anything. As you can see, she's super slowed. She can't attack here. She can't stay here. So she's just roaming around, gets a pretty good stun off on the Jaina, but she's completely out of position now because I basically drove her away. And that's something that I'm getting better and better with. Understanding and seeing those flanks that can be very hurtful for your backline. And in this situation it was just well executed by our own team by healing everybody and keeping everybody alive, but me preventing the flank also helped us stay up front. Again, not using Tempest, not using Howling Blast here, just using Frostmourne to get more mana back. And then with the globes I should be pretty healthy, nearly full health, 3/4 of mana, so that should be fine. Our Jaina's going back. And this is actually super risky from their Greymane. Great force of wave of force from the Li Ming. And again, even though I'm full health, I only barely get away here because they are actually doing a good job of fighting us. But as you can see, with the mana that I have, I just use Frozen Tempest, and then they can't really engage on me with what they have. And the advantage of that is that I just feel immortal, basically. Even when I'm low health, they don't have a lot of tools to get me down. On top of that, the Greymane took Go for the Throat, so I don't feel very threatened by him. With Cursed Bullet, it probably would have been different, because you just lose a bunch of health with one spell, and that's just not happening here. Risky teleport here. I should have probably went into the vent here, or at least behind the walls. They don't have vision on me. If like minions walk by or whatever. In the end, though, we're tallied up for a couple of seconds more. They got 6% damage on the core, and obviously now both keeps are down. The only thing that we now have to do is basically wait out, try to stay as 5 as long as possible, and not feed. Let's have a quick look at the stats. As you can see, I haven't died, which is really good. I have most XP contributed, so I'm doing a good job as a solo laner. And I've been there for nearly all of the kills, only missed 3 of them, which are pretty much early game. Damage taken, the variant is doing a better job here, but as you can see from siege damage and hero damage, I'm not very high. Like you shouldn't be expecting Arthas to do amazingly well in these departments when you play him as a solo laner. If you play him as a bruiser or main tank in the 5-man rotation, he will actually surprise you sometimes. We see them here. And we're thinking about attacking because they might be only 4, and then we see Johanna here, and we just say go. They're all 5 here, but we have great initiation. Again, everybody is slowed down so much that they can't really get a lot of kills off of here, but they do react pretty well and get a bunch of damage on the Rhaegar and the Jaina, and also Sylvanas is super low. So we're a little lucky as well that we can fight here. And as you can see, let's jump back a little bit. Why it's so important to have the quest on level 4. So look at the Uther. So I'm hitting him here with the Holding Blast, and now I walk into him, and he's also now slowed by my Frozen Tempest. Now he stuns me, but as you can see from the swirly around him, the purple swirly, he's still slowed even walking out of it. Obviously now he also gets hit by the Varian, but having the slow linger on him is really important because I basically now nearly get into range of him again to slow him again. So even if you get stunned or get peeled off of somebody, the slow still lingers a little bit, and therefore you can hopefully again get into melee range and slow them again. Let's speed this up a little bit. Not very interesting first phase here. This is super dangerous by the Greyman. If I was a better player, I would have rooted him here and he probably would have died. Again, they walk into me, which is probably the worst target they want to walk into. Team pings me back. Our Varian has pretty low health, so she's just gonna tap. Sonya misses her spear, and now we're in a kind of awkward situation where we're all clumped up in a very close encounter. I have 2 seconds left on the Armor of the Dead cooldown. Now popping it, and now I'm just chasing. And again, as soon as I'm in melee range, it's very difficult for them to do anything. The issue now, and I'm coming away with 43 health, is I'm out of mana. So I can't heal myself, I can't peel for anybody. I just have to go back. And my team is cleaning up though. And they're all low, and like the slow again is such an important. Oh wow! I didn't even know that he killed him. Such an important part of the kit because you basically disable a lot of the enemy movement, and that's something that has a lot of value that is underestimated. We killed everybody. We have 2 catapults on the core, and Sylvanas actually does quite a bit of damage. With her Barb Trot. I think, no, it doesn't actually do any damage to these buildings. Anyway, she does enough damage to... let's jump back a bit because you can't open the talents and stats for some reason when you... when the core is dying. So, we kill here everything. They basically lost the fight, but it was a good fight for them to take. And that's it. That's gonna be the end of the game. Let's have a quick look again on... talents and stats. So as you can see again, I'm now high in damage taken, still have the most experience soaked, but the Sylvanas did a good job as well. If you look at hero damage, I'm above Sonya, who had a tough game again against Arthas. Is not very fun to play Sonya, but as you can see, everybody else is above me. Even Johanna is above me, Varian is above me, and then you can see the damage dealers are way beyond above me. Siege damage wise, I did try to soak a little minions at the beginning. I didn't do a lot of building damage because Sonya is a tough opponent for me in that regard, and I just always stayed safe back. So I I didn't do a lot of building damage when we were sieging because I just focused more on trying to get heroes and missing my holding blasts. Talent-wise, here's an overview if you want to take a look and pause the video just to see what everybody else played. I saw in chat a couple of days ago, in Twitch chat, that people really dislike the orb build. I think it's okay, because it's a very easy to execute build. Requires less skill than some of the other ones, but it obviously helped us because with 2 frontliners you block most of the orbs coming in at a pretty close range, so the damage isn't that high. And yeah, I think the only thing that I would point out is that the go for the throat, we have 3 sort of squishy targets, which I can totally understand that it's very tempting to do it. But I think with Bullet you can easily get Varian and me in a pretty bad spot from the beginning on, and then it's easier to fight into us, and just didn't happen. For me, again, Rhyme level 1 against Sonya, and then I think Frozen Wastes is, in my opinion, the best talent to get. Basically, it reduces the mana cost, which is important. It costs quite a bit of mana. What is it? 50 mana per second, so it's only 11 mana per second, which is great. So as you saw in the replay, I've been out of mana for quite a bit. Then Iceman Fortitude against Sonya Spear, Condemn, Utherstan, Force of Wave of Force, lots of CC, so it's definitely the best target. Sorry, the best talent here. We could also probably go for Rune Tap on the Immortal because you just get a lot of heal from that. Immortal Death Coil probably could have been used against Slimming, but I was more worried about keeping Greyman and Sonya at bay, so didn't choose that. Level 10, as said, Army of the Dead is just the best talent on the heroic tier. Svindra not very good, especially now with that we had Sylvanas, who does basically the same thing with her trait. It's just not worth it. And one double check. Yeah, it's 100-second cooldown. Okay, so it's not that bad, not 120 seconds anymore, but still very long. And then Shattered Armor and Remorse's Winter were the ones that Nunya told me to take. Again, armor reduction really good. And then this is really cool because it just roots enemies that are standing in Remorse's Winter, sorry, in Frozen Tempest. So basically, once you're on the target, like Greymane, and they can't get away from you, you also root them. So this is really strong. Even though it can only happen once every 10 seconds, it still can secure kills. Frostmourne feeds, as I said, I like the Frostmourne talents. They give you mana, can be useful, but you know, you never know. Embrace Death. I think the heal at that late in the game can be okay, but I feel like at this point you know if you can survive or not, and I feel like CCing your enemy is more important. On level 20 I would have gone Legion of Northrend, more ghouls, and the ghouls heal more and also last a little longer. The last a little longer is actually pretty important because sometimes you pull them too early to initiate, and then they expire actually in the fight. They are not killed, but they actually expire, so you lose the health from that. Okay, that's it for this replay commentary. Thank you everybody for watching and tuning in. As I said, we're gonna do more Twitch streaming and more YouTube videos in the near future, and then also obviously with the patch coming out this week, I'm gonna jump in and play a lot of games, and we're gonna see more new videos of the new meta and whatever is exploding in the Nexus now when all the changes coming in. So I see you in the Nexus, and as always, have a good one, and see you around. Bye bye.